Hey, my little cupcakes. I have a great story for you. I'm going to read the words and then show you the pictures. The name of this book is Dewey. There's a cat in the library. Every night, people left books in the return box of the library in the small town of Spencer, Iowa. Funny books, big books, truck books, pig books, they left them all. But one night, on the coldest night of the year, someone left a strange surprise. A tiny kitten. Someone left a kitten in the return box. You see that? When Vicki the librarian found him the next morning, the kitten was cold and scared and very, very dirty. Vicki took one look and decided to give him a warm bath. The kitten went into the sink brown and crying, but he came out orange and purring. I'm going to keep you, said Vicki, who already loved him. We'll name you Dewey Read More Books. You can live here and be our library cat. So Dewey Read More Books is his name. He's getting his first bath and loving it. But Dewey had no idea what it meant to be a library cat. So he did what all kittens do. He played. He lounged on the newspaper, rode the book cart, knocked pins to the floor. He goofed around with Marty Mouse, the toy. He snooped in every drawer and always found at least one rubber band. Well, this kitten was a little bit naughty. See, just playing. And he always found one rubber band. But what Dewey loved most of all was people. Tall ones, round ones, quiet ones, loud ones. The little ones, however, surprised him, and not always in a good way. Look, Nathan, said his mommy, there's a cat in the library. Nathan bent down and said, Hi, Hooey Dewey Tooks. No, said his sister Hannah, it's Dewey. Read more books. Dewey squirmed. The boy was petting him in the wrong direction. Dewey loved to be petted, but he hated being petted in the wrong direction. So he couldn't really speak well. They called him Hooey Tooey Tooks. Dewey Read More Books. Dewey was licking his fur back into place when he heard a strange wah. Dewey's ears perked up. He looked around. Wah. Dewey sprung to attention and crept really slowly towards the sound. So Dewey heard some crying, and he crept slowly over to the sound. What's that? Surprise! The little people Dewey discovered came in tiny sizes too, and they loved to giggle and grab and pull and coo. Babies are wonderful, Dewey thought. Cute and smell-licious too. Look at this little baby giving Dewey a pet. A few days later, Dewey went exploring and discovered in a secret room the most exciting thing he'd ever seen. Children's Story Hour. Lucy Whiskers, this looks fun, Dewey thought, as he pushed into the room with his nose. Someone shouted, there's a cat in the library! Dewey froze. So now all the kids knew that there was a library cat. And he froze. It was quiet for 1 minute, then everything went wild. So the kids didn't know how to react, and everything went wild. And the next thing Dewey knew, he was being carried upside down. Oh my, Dewey thought. What should I do now? Look at Dewey being carried upside down by this girl. He didn't know what he should do. What should I do now? Later that night, Dewey talked to his friend Marty the toy mouse. The library is a wonderful place, Dewey said, but I'm tired of being pulled and poked and carried upside down. I'm not just a cat in a library. I'm a library cat. A library cat helps people. I think, and I'm 92% convinced that that's the reason I'm around. Marty Mouse didn't say anything. Well, he was a toy. I'm going to do it, Dewey said. I'm going to help people. And he felt so happy that he threw Marty Mouse into the air, kicked him with his back legs, and slept on him like a pillow. The next morning, when the first people arrived, Dewey was waiting to greet them right by the front door. Dewey's talking to his toy mouse, and the next day he was waiting by the door. He needed to make some changes. All morning Dewey acted like a library cat. He read with the mommies and the grandmas. He helped the daddies work. He even showed books with the library clerk. When he saw little Nathan, he turned a circle in half so the boy could pet his back from head down to his tail, the right direction to pet a cat. I'm glad we're friends, Dewey Woolly, Nathan said. Dewey smiled at that. So he started acting like a library cat, helping the mommies, grandmommies, helping the clerk. Even Nathan, who didn't know how to pet him right, he turned the right way so Nathan would know what he wanted. By lunchtime, Dewey was worn out, so he found a good box. First he put his front paws inside, then his belly. He squished his back end down, wiggled around until he was all the way in, and closed his eyes. Whew. Then there's an orange muffin in the library, a girl giggled. There's an orange muffin in the library. That's not a muffin, that's Dewey. Trying to hide and get some rest. But just as Dewey was about to drift off into sweet kitten dreams, he heard a heavy sigh. Ha! His eyes popped open and he saw a girl on the other side of the library. A sad little girl reading very quietly, all by herself. So just as Dewey was about to go to sleep, he looked over and saw a sad little girl reading. I wonder what Dewey's going to do. Is he going to help this little girl? He climbed up close and stared at her. She looked the other way. He sniffed her hands. She wouldn't play. He knocked her mints to the floor. She let them stay. Then he saw her jacket and had his best idea yet. So he was trying to get her to notice him, and she didn't ignore him. Then he got a good idea. I wonder what it is. Silly always works. I'll be a silly cat today. The girl stared at Dewey. You look like a fuzzy hot dog in a purple bun, she said. And then she surprised him. She said he looked like a purple fuzzy hot dog in a bun. And then she surprised him. I wonder what she's going to do. She laughed right out loud. I love you, Dewey Read More books, the girl whispered, as Dewey nestled into her lap and began to purr. This is it, Dewey thought. I'm a real library cat and it feels great. No, it feels better than great. It feels perfect. Oh, he looked so happy. She's giving him a hug and saying, I love you, little Dewey. Hope you like that. See you soon.